When Yankee Stadium was designed in 1923, they had one player in mind. Babe Ruth had joined the team 3 seasons earlier, making each game a must-see event. To accommodate his unprecedented power, the right field wall was placed just 295 feet from home plate. Unsurprisingly, the left-handed hitter led MLB in homers that year. And while the wall has been moved back since then, that hasn't stopped lefties from taking advantage of the short porch. Legends like Lou Gehrig, Roger Maris, and Reggie Jackson spent years launching baseballs into the right field bleachers. Today, as we wait for the 2024 season to begin, another slugger is about to join that list. After months of speculation, weeks of rumors, and a day of drama at this year's winter meetings, the news broke late December 6th. Juan Soto is a New York Yankee. New York has just obtained a generational talent, one they hope will break their decade-plus championship drought. Soto, meanwhile, is already one of the most accomplished players in the game, and at 25 years old is just entering his quote-unquote prime years. If there's anyone out there who can bring a ring to the Bronx, it's this guy. Which begs the question, if Juan Soto is as great as I'm saying he is, then why do teams keep trading him away? Players of Soto's caliber, at Soto's age, aren't dealt very often. For it to happen twice, in less than 2 years, is unheard of. So that's what I'm going to spend the next 10 or so minutes trying to answer. I want to find out how this blockbuster trade came to happen, where Juan Soto might go at the end of next season, and why one of MLB's brightest stars has struggled so mightily to find a home. Let's get into it. How can you homer before you even start playing? That's not a riddle, it's what Juan Soto did in 2018. Soto hit a 2-run home run on June 18, 2018, in a makeup game against the Yankees. This put him at 1-for-1 for the day, in a game which had originally begun on May 15th, before his MLB debut. Oh, and he did all this at the ripe old age of 19. When I was 19, I crashed a car into my own mailbox. I think what I'm trying to say here is we all take our own paths in life. Born in the Dominican Republic, Soto blazed through the minors. He spent 16 games in Class A, then 15 in Class A Advanced, before being promoted to Double-A. He had played all of 8 games there when he was called up in May. Soto was the first MLB player born in 1998, and the first teenager to homer in a game since Bryce Harper. Through age 24, Soto has played for 6 seasons. For context, his new teammate Aaron Judge didn't debut until he was 24. But when he's not tearing holes in the fabric of space and time, Juan Soto stays busy tearing the cover off of baseballs. His hard hit and chase rates are both in the 99th percentile. The result of this is that 23.7% of Soto's swings result in a ball hit over 95 miles per hour. I said before that Soto is a generational talent. Bill James's similarity score likens him to current and past greats like Harper, Frank Robinson, and Andrew Jones. He has an OPS plus of 157 over 3,000 plate appearances. In that span, he's been 57% better than the league average hitter. If we look for other hitters with at least 3,000 plate appearances through age 24, the top names in OPS plus are either Inner Circle Hall of Famers, Mike Trout, or Soto. Not bad company. Hall of Fame pitcher Jim Katt played for 25 years in the big leagues, with hitters from Julio Franco to Ted Williams, the latter one a player who Soto has often been compared to. I don't know if you can name another hitter that has that kind of discipline, and also that kind of power and production Soto has, Katt has said. He's 9th in WAR since he entered the league, according to Baseball Reference. He has the highest on-base percentage among active players, and is the only one with as many plate appearances as he has to have walked more than struck out. There's no such thing as a sure bet in baseball. Just ask Pete Rose. But Juan Soto might just be the closest to one that you could find. When the Washington Nationals signed Soto as a 16-year-old, they paid him a bonus of $1.5 million, the highest they'd ever given an international player. He finished second to Ronald Acuna Jr. in Rookie of the Year voting, and was seen by fans as the heir apparent to Bryce Harper in the DC outfield. The 2019 season was a roller coaster for the Nationals. They were 19-31 on May 23rd, and 10 games back of Philadelphia, where Harper had signed that offseason for $330 million. Nevertheless, they were able to claw their way back into playoff contention by September, and finished the season with 93 wins and a wildcard berth. Down 2 runs in the 8th inning against reliever Josh Hader, Juan Soto, then 20, delivered their first lead of the game. This hit sparked one of the greatest postseason runs in history. The Nats took home the win, pulled out a tight 5-game series against the Dodgers, and crushed the Cardinals in the NLCS. The World Series, which saw them face the AL champion Houston Astros, went the full 7 games and featured multiple homers from Soto. DC took home their first title that October. Over 32 World Series plate appearances, Soto had an OPS of 1178. He led the league with a .217 OPS plus in 2020, winning his first Silver Slugger during the pandemic-shortened season. The Nationals fell 5 games short of the playoffs, however, even with the expanded format. Soto was picked for his first All-Star team in 2021 and appeared in the Home Run Derby in Colorado. He upset Shohei Ohtani in the first round, before losing to certified Derby maniac Pete Alonso. He swung at just 15.1% of pitches outside the zone, making him the most disciplined hitter in baseball by far. His 145 walks were the most in a single season since Barry Bonds set the record in 2004. He finished second in the MVP vote to Harper. Prior to the 2022 season, the Nationals reportedly made Soto an offer of $350 million through 2034, 13 years. Unfortunately for his team, Juan Soto's agent is one Scott Boras, a man who loves to test his client's value on the free agent market. Soto declined the offer, but said that DC was where he wanted to stay. The team came back in July of 2022 with a second extension offer, this time for 15 years, $440 million. Soto was batting .247 at the time, with 19 homers, but he had been heating up over the last few weeks. He made his second All-Star team and his second Home Run Derby, this time winning it all. The Nationals, on the other hand, couldn't have been further from a winning club. On August 1st, they had the worst record in baseball. Of the 25 players from their World Series roster, just 7 remained. On June 1st, GM Mike Rizzo had insisted that the Nationals would not trade Juan Soto before the deadline. On August 2nd, the Nationals traded Juan Soto to the San Diego Padres, alongside first baseman Josh Bell. It was one of the biggest trades in the history of baseball. In 2003, then Florida Marlin Miguel Cabrera took home his first and only World Series ring. In the 4 years after that, he made 4 All-Star teams, won 2 Silver Sluggers, and hit 126 home runs. Then, at age 24, the Marlins traded him to the Tigers for a package of prospects. The reason I bring up Miguel Cabrera here is because he's the only other player both as good and as young as Juan Soto to be traded away by their original team after winning them a title. The difference here is that while Cabrera stayed with his second team for the rest of his career, Soto barely made it through a season and a half. He played 51 games with the Padres in the second part of 2022, batting .236 and walking 36 times. He hit 2 home runs in the NLCS against the Phillies, but San Diego fell 4 games to 1. The Padres started 2023 with a payroll of $250 million. That offseason had seen them sign Xander Bogaerts, extend Yu Darvish, and lock down Manny Machado long-term. There was even talk that San Diego might do the impossible and extend a Scott Boras client. The way Padres owner Peter Seidler is guaranteeing money, said former GM Jim Bowden, he may be the one owner and the only owner that would give Scott Boras that record-breaking deal. In 2022, Seidler said, "I kind of like spending money. You can't take it with you." He passed away in November of 2023. The Padres sold more tickets this year than all but one team, so it came as a shock to many when they took out a $50 million loan in September to cover costs. Now, MLB teams commonly take out loans to pay the bills, but the Friars' financial situation is supposedly causing the league concern. And as all of this has been happening, they've still had the usual issues, namely their entire pitching staff entering free agency all at once. So, facing the loss of their owner, their network, and their best arms to the open market, the Padres are scaling back this winter. And as Juan Soto stands to earn $33 million in arbitration, in a walk year, with virtually no chance of signing an extension, it made sense, in the Padres' eyes at least, to trade him first. In return for their best hitter, San Diego received 5 pitchers from New York, plus catcher/guitarist Kyle Higashioka.
Damn, find yourself a catcher who could shred, baby.
New York, of course, got Soto, plus outfielder Trent Grissom, who you might also remember from the 2019 postseason. The Phenom was introduced as a Bronx Bomber just 6 days after the trade. Wearing a fresh Yankee hat as he spoke over Zoom, Soto talked about playing at Yankee Stadium.
We all know that there's a really short porch right there. It's gonna be on your mind, but definitely I'm gonna try to stay in the same approach I've been doing.
His new teammates,
Glaver, Rizzo, Gary Cole, I mean, a lot of them, they just came over, they tell me they're really excited to have me on the team, try to enjoy the moment while I'm there.
and addressed the possibility of signing an extension during the season.
Contract and stuff, they know where to call and who to talk to. I'm here just to play baseball and try to keep concentrated and play baseball.
So while money does talk, Soto probably won't be talking back until after the 2024 season is up. So, in the meantime, what will that look like? 2023 was a banner year for Juan Soto offensively. He played in all 162 games, had 35 home runs, and led MLB in walks. He was an all-star yet again, and 6th in the MVP vote, his 4th career top 10 finish. He had an on-base percentage of .410, something New York sorely needs, since no team in the league was worse from the left side of the plate last year. Soto's OPS plus of 158 was the 5th highest in baseball, and it would have been the highest for a left-handed Yankee since Jason Giambi in 2005. Fangraphs is projecting Soto to be the most productive hitter in baseball next season. On opening day, the Yankees outfield will most likely be composed of Soto in right, the newly acquired Alex Verdugo in left, and Aaron Judge in center field. That might just be the best in baseball, and a major upgrade from last season's piecemeal approach. Now, there is some bad news for anyone hoping to see a surge in home run production at Yankee Stadium for Soto, because while he does have the short porch to give him a boost, he actually doesn't pull the ball all that much. Of the 209 balls he hit in the air last season, only 25% were to the right side. According to StatCast, if he played his home games in Yankee Stadium last year, he would have ended up with fewer home runs. All of that is to say that I don't know what the future holds for Juan Soto, or the Yankees, or the Padres, or anyone else. I can predict that a hitter who's been incredible every year since he was 19 will continue to be incredible at age 25. I can guess how much he'll help his new team, and if it'll be enough to get them back in the playoffs. As a Yankee fan, I sure hope it is. And as for what's in store for Soto beyond this season, if the current headlines are any indication, things are looking pretty good. It's very possible that in a year's time, it'll be Soto's turn to break salary records. Until then, though, only time will tell.